Believe in time travel? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night. In fact, a very special one, because tonight it's a Teen Dog Shades PCP Movie Night, because we're talking about Donnie Darko from 2001. This movie is 20 years old. 20 years old. Speaking of 20 years old, just celebrated his 20th birthday. It's Jelani. What's up, my man?
What's up, man? Good to see you. And
good to see you.
Yeah, sometimes I doubt your commitment to Sparkle.
Never doubt my commitment to Sparkle Motion. Speaking of Sparkle Motion, we have the assistant coach himself. It's Perry from Perry Comics.
Hey, Station.
How is your commitment to Sparkle Motion lately?
Pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty committed.
I like that. Speaking of committed, this dude should be committed. It's Brooks, the magnificent Mario Master Mutant Magnetism Machine. What's up, my brother?
So answer me this. How exactly does one suck a fuck?
That's what I want to know. And that's the question that we strive to answer tonight as we look back and have a conversation about Donnie Darko from Richard Kelly. This released in 2001. So Richard Kelly, fresh out of film school, was making some short films, whatnot, but like he wanted to make this rather ambitious film that was, the crux of it was the idea, he heard this urban legend that this giant piece of ice fell from a plane and killed some boy somewhere in his bedroom, smashed into his house, and the whole story was built around that whole idea, right? And then we already covered Southland Tales earlier this year on my birthday. It was for my birthday, right? And Southland Tales is the follow-up to this film by Richard Kelly. And I love that film. When I was like, we got to do Donnie Darko. So this is a movie that I absolutely adore. He was trying to make this film. He insisted on directing it. He couldn't get financing. He was having trouble. Then eventually Drew Barrymore's production company got a hold of it. They made this movie for like $4.5 million, y'all.
Damn.
It's like 4.5 million. This is a rather ambitious film. And then they premiered it at Cannes or something like that. It got a great, like, I think it won like some big festivals that year. Somebody bought it up. They insisted that it got cut down to underneath 2 hours, and they took out a lot of the music because it was expensive to license the music. Years later, like 2004, like 3 years after the release, we got the director's cut, which really fully explains out more of the vision Richard Kelly has. I love this movie. It didn't do too well when it first released. It made $7.5 million, so it made $3 million, which to people like us is great.
It's a profit.
But not to Hollywood producers, you know? But I love this film. And when I first watched it, there was something tonally about it that just drew me in. And I love the ambiguity of it. And I really liked the idea that at the time, I thought it was like this dude's like kind of like fever dream. Like I thought it was like just a dream he has before the jet engine falls on him and shit like that, right? But then when I watched the director's cut, started diving more into it, I realized there's a whole like crazy bit of science fiction that's surrounding this coming of age tale, right? But it's not just science fiction. It's like philosophy. It's talking about spirituality and religion. It's talking about like the suburban home. It's talking about what it's like to be a kid growing up. This movie speaks on so many levels. And then it's also this really mind bonkers, puzzling science fiction tale about parallel dimensions, reality warps, and time travel. Like, holy shit, I love this movie. What do you think about it, Jelani, overall?
Man, this is a wild tale. Like, you never really know where it's going. Like, the first time I ever watched this movie, I think I watched it twice. I had to watch it twice just to be sure. And that was just a theatrical cut. And it still confuses me. Like 20 years later, it's still like I get it. I understand it because I've watched the director's cut since, and I understand all of the wild twists and turns of this movie. But it's a mixed bag too, because I love it. I mean, it's a great film, but like I hate it too. There's just so many little things that are left unanswered that we really don't get. There's holes in it where you really want some clarity. And even though it does make sense in the director's cut, it's still a lot to take in.
Well,
So,
I mean, is that the way is that the way you would judge the theatrical cut? Like, would you judge the director's cut the same way?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. I'm saying I think they're both great films. I really do. I think it's told well.
But I'll tell you what,
without the 20 minutes,
yeah,
it makes total sense.
It does. And like to let everybody know, I watched both versions for the first time ever, like really kind of back to back within a few days this time. And bro, when I watched the theatrical cut, because I usually just watch the director's one, and some people say they like the theatrical cut because they think that it over explains the film. But I was watching the theatrical cut again for the first time in years and years, and I was like, bro, this doesn't explain anything. And I watched Perry's video last year when he reacted to it, and at the end of it, he's like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Somebody please tell me. Like, it's
so
the theatrical
much.
cut really, like, it's hard, like, it just ends, and you're like, what?
Why did this end? Right. Why did this? Yeah. And I get it. But I love them both. They're both a decent cut.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great film. It's my sister's one of her favorite films. She loves Jake Gyllenhaal. Like,
who
loses her mind over some Jake
Source
Gyllenhaal.
code.
So, like, yeah, she's about that life. So I'm putting her out there. But it's so weird. It's so weird that like she has both copies of this. So I got to watch it on Blu-ray. And it was decent. I liked it. And yeah, I liked it. There you go.
All right.
I liked it.
Well, Perry, we already mentioned you watched this movie, did a reaction on your channel. By the way, link to Perry's channel in the description below. Of course, he's also one of the featured friends of PCP here on the homepage on our YouTube channel. We love Perry. We love having him on. So, Perry, I'm interested to know how your opinion on this film has like shifted and morphed over a year or so.
I am as confused today as I was when I watched the movie, but it's weird because it doesn't take away from how much I enjoyed the movie. Like I've never like watched a movie before that was number one, enjoyable, relatable to characters. I felt at home watching it, and it was also in ultra wide 21 by 9, so it was like super. I was completely immersed into the movie. I couldn't tell what exactly was happening, and I left the movie not knowing exactly what happened. And to me, that's part of the magic, because then it sparks the conversation. And then if you get 4 guys in a room and everybody has a different view on what just happened, it's like, what a magical thing, especially someone who just came out of film school, to be able to like do that to your mind. Like, it's like a whole psychological thing that just goes on in your mind. And the music, oh man, it was a great job, this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, you should watch this movie.
Yeah,
and
you
then
really
watch
should.
it again.
Yeah.
We're going to be fucking spoiling the shit out of it tonight. I'll tell you that. But you're right. And for instance, Richard Kelly has done 2 movies that when I first viewed them, both this one and Southland Tales, I had no idea what the fuck had actually happened, but there was something about the atmosphere. And usually, I mean, in this case, always the music has a lot to do with it, right? The way it's shot, It's a funny movie, and it's kind of a quirky slice of life type thing that goes dark and real and brutal and brutally honest, right?
Really?
And then at other times, like it's really this weird, like philosophical, metaphysical exploration on predestination and free will. And we'll get into all that. Obviously, we got a while to go. But before we get to all of that jazz, the man who brings the funky rhythm himself, Brooks, you watched both just like I did this week, right?
Yeah.
What do you think
I
about this
did.
movie overall?
Well, I remember like the last time I watched it, I bought you lent it to me, and you told me like watch both versions, and I did. And I remember like I liked the movie, but I was still kind of confused about it. This time I got it. I mean, I know what this movie is, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think the theatrical version isn't as good. I think the director's cut is better because it has a couple they're like little moments I think that really added. I don't think any of these things like in the director's cut feel like they're forced in. Like there's I actually missed a couple of them when I watched the theatrical cut, and one of them was one of my favorite scenes, which is when he's talking to his dad, and his dad's talking about how people are always bullshitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we say to those people.
That is a good conversation.
There's a lot more.
It wasn't in the theatrical cut. I was like, what the fuck? And another one was the Drew Barrymore scene when she gets fired.
Yes.
And he's talking to her. Like it seemed like off when I watched the theatrical cut because they
abandoned the whole Watership Down thing, which is very part of the theme of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the theatrical cut is all right, but I think the director's cut was necessary.
Yeah,
I think it makes the movie better personally.
It does. To speak directly on what you had just said, like the dad, for instance, gets so much. Like the dad's actually a character in the director's cut. He's like a caricature in the theatrical.
He is a theatrical cut.
Okay.
Caucus.
Yeah, caucus, son of a
Yeah.
bitch. But yeah, and all that stuff. In my household, it was the opposite. It was like Dan Quayle, that stupid son of a bitch. Both, by the way, are accurate statements on both of those figures in political history. But anyway, what was I saying? The dad gets more. They abandon the whole Watership Down. So like when Drew Barrymore's character gets fired, like you think it's just because of this one incident set up by that crazy lady, the gym health teacher,
right.
Because of the book, but it's because after that she went and did Watership Down, which features it's a story about war, destiny, and rabbits, and it kind of is important thematically into the film, especially to piecing it together. Especially when you realize what the manipulated dead are and the manipulated living and the living receiver and all that kind of stuff. But one of the reasons why this movie works so well to me is because for somebody making their first feature film, blessed with an amazing cast to bring these characters to life. Jake Gyllenhaal, unknown at the time. That's his actual sister, Maggie, right? Is it Maggie?
Wow.
Yep,
Maggie, right?
from Dark Knight.
Yeah, she's in Dark Knight.
So,
yeah, right.
That's pretty cool.
So like she's his real life sister, and then everybody around Patrick Swayze, like doing one of the most like he would not have done this role at a certain point in his career. But at this time he was allowed to kind of stretch out, and it's a very minor role, but like he does so much with it, I think, because I almost cut together today. Like I wanted to do it and I just didn't, to be honest. I got a little lazy today, but I was going to cut together before the intro, me just going, love, fear. I'm not afraid anymore. Like, that's just so stupid. There's an amazing cast of characters. I want to know what performance, what character is your highlight, Jelani?
I'm going to go with no, I'm not. I'm going to do this one. I will be nice. I like I like Drew Barrymore in this movie. Cellar Door. Yep. It's just, she has the most beautiful portion in the movie because she does explain the theme of this film. I mean, it's so deep, and like that when she explains what's going on as far as that's the short story, at least that short story as well. It's crazy because I now wanted to read that book or that 13-page short story. It's crazy. I've never seen anything destroyed from the inside out, and the way she explained it looked, it was decent. I liked her character a lot. She was trying to open people up to their free will, and the fact that you can't combine to fear and love together. It's all together. So I liked her character for it. Donnie Darko,
she was also a teacher that cared.
That cared,
you know what I'm
about
saying? And
her students.
Allow me a tangent universe. But like there's so many, like in my estimation, I think one of the most important things a society can do for itself is to really put an emphasis on education, right?
Yes.
And
you don't need dumb people.
And from our experience in public schools, I don't know about Perry. I don't know if he was like in private school with like little shorts and a little tie and all that kind of stuff. That'd be a really cool.
Poking the lockers like in Donnie Darko.
went to school in a castle.
Doing coke at the lockers.
I got arrested twice in high school, dude. No private school here.
All right, I feel it. Okay, so I can estimate from all of our experiences here. We've seen good teachers and we've seen really shitty teachers. More shitty teachers because what happens is. One time, for instance, our geometry teacher at Lee High School, Mrs. Gibson. Remember her?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Miss Gibson. So when I was working at the Acura dealership, and I was basically a transporter, I would take cars to where they needed to go. And so I would take customers home sometimes when they dropped their car off for service. And she came and I was like, holy cow. And at the time, I was considering becoming a teacher, like a history teacher. And she told me, children are terrible. The system is terrible. It was like she was so bitter. And she talked me out of it, but she was so bitter and just defeated by that system. The more you realize and look into it, teachers like what Drew Barrymore's character represents here, those are the rarity, and they get stamped out by just, no, we just kind of want to keep these kids brain dead. We just want to make them into the mold.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah. We want them to go out there and do their job, punch their clocks, and not cause too much noise. We'll allow them to get drunk on the weekends and watch football.
We want to be wage slaves.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of like, and some of us start kind of feeling that way in high school. And Donnie Darko kind of represents that. And she's like, it's that rare teacher that you have. We've all had those, I'm sure. Yep. Teachers that really kind of like sparked you. Yeah. And man, we need more of those in this good old US of A. But anyway, yeah, Drew Barrymore is amazing in the film.
There's just so many great characters, though.
Yeah, there are, and I love her subtle relationship that's there with Noah Wiley's character, the science teacher.
Yeah,
the way that works, and there's that really odd moment where they both look at each other while they're like eating in the teacher's lounge, and they're just like Donnie Darko. Yeah. Like, what is that about? You know what I'm saying? Like she's trying to hook him up.
After the whole the thing with Patrick Swayze in the gymnasium.
Yeah, but they're also, there's a part of this film where they're being manipulated by some force to lead Donnie Darko into one particular path. Like everybody in this film is being manipulated into guiding Donnie Darko to this one path to save all of reality. Speaking of saving reality, what's a character that spoke to you, Perry?
I was gonna go with Crazy Cat Lady, but I didn't have enough to go off of. Jake Gyllenhaal, Donnie Darko. Now I didn't want to pick him because he's like the main guy, but I've never seen a movie where I couldn't read the actor. I couldn't read him the whole time. I didn't know if he was depressed. I didn't know if he was a teenager going through some shit. I didn't know if he was happy. I didn't know if he was sad. The way he got into the gym teacher's face and he got up and he started talking to her like, holy shit, I want a teacher to talk like that. Why is a student talking like that? Like, he pulled this shit out of randomly through the movie. He pulled out these crazy performances where I'm like, holy shit. And I didn't even see it coming. Like, his facial expressions are so unique that he should have won like an award if he didn't for this, because it was really like refreshing to see something that was so captivating yet so I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
You know?
If he was nominated for an award for this, the scene they would have used like when they announced him or whatever, would have been the scene where he's talking to his therapist and he's like, and she's talking about
off.
no, but
Like I
That
didn't
would-
see that coming, dude.
that would be, dude, she let that scene go on a little too long. I'm just
I
gonna
would have
say,
seen what he was
I
gonna
don't want
do.
to fuck my family.
He was
That's
getting
gross.
there.
yeah, she let some shit ride out a little bit
Yeah,
too
she
long. When
wanted to
he's
get
like
paid and
stands
laid.
up and he's like, I can fucking see him, and he's like freaking out, like, bruh, like bring him out of this. What is wrong with you? She's
Yeah.
thinking about the
Yeah.
book she's about to fucking write.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what she's doing.
She's like, I'm
But
gonna get a movie deal.
no, the scene where he's explaining like dying alone is what, you know, Grandma Death told him, and how that relates to why that's the crux of his battle with, in my opinion, in this film, and what Richard Kelly says, accepting the force of God and his predestined will, right? And his lack of choice in where he's going to go. And there's it gets he delivers so freaking well. He did this thing. He was allowed a lot of room to breathe in the script. He could
Oh, wow.
share his ideas, and Richard Kelly would really respect them. Jake Gyllenhaal's the one who came up with the idea that when he's, first of all, when he's in the hypnosis, and also when he's talking to Frank, it's a comforting thing that he's doing, and he's speaking like a child talking to his blanket or imaginary friend or something. And one of my favorite whole bits in the whole movie is when he first sees Frank, and Frank tells him the world's going to end, and he just goes, "Why?" Like, it's just, why? Like,
The way he says it, it's like he's not
Mhm.
asking. He's just like he's just saying the word.
yeah, it's so interesting, man.
Did they explain? Because like the movie starts off with him laying in the street. Did they explain how he got there?
He sleepwalks.
Sleepwalks.
Oh, that was just sleepwalking. Okay,
Or rides his
Yeah.
bike. Sleep rides his bike.
it's very.
Yeah, he did
dangerous.
happen to have his bike there, didn't he?
Yeah,
Mhm.
That is weird.
it is super
But-
weird.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful shot though. The
Just
mountains in the
drawn there.
background, the winding street. It was
Oh, he
gorgeous.
gets up and he just like he's like confused at first, then he kind of smiles, right? And then we're in, like, I don't know if we ever see until the end the actual primary universe in this film, but
Yeah.
we'll get into all that. Brooks,
Yeah.
what's a character that you want to highlight?
I actually like the love interest character. What is her name? Gretchen?
Yeah,
Gretchen.
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 Yeah. She's like a very important part of the story, even though she doesn't have a whole lot of time really. But the time she does get like is good character development.
Yeah,
Like the conversation, like when those guys are like are bugging her at the bus stop, and she walks home with him, and like she tells him that he's weird, and he's like, oh sorry, and then she looks at him, she's like, that was a
That's a
compliment.
compliment. Yeah.
Like that was when I was like, I like her.
do you want to
She's
go with
pretty
me? Will you go with me?
And she I liked how she kind of like strings him along a little bit, but not like she isn't like mean about it or anything.
It feels like an honest first like high school romance.
Yeah.
You know,
The
it
whole
really
movie
does.
felt honest with
Yes.
the kids in
Yeah.
the school. Like they were
It
being
did.
racist towards the Asian girl. Like when they were trying a cigarette, and he's like, "This is
Yeah,
good."
like when
you
that
know
kid
that cigarette's
like
not good.
tells her like, I hope you get molested. I was like, what the
Dude,
what?
yeah. First of all, that kid
Yeah.
is like, how do you like literally two of the worst, like Seth Rogen.
Seth
this
Rogen,
is,
yeah,
Francis,
dude.
he's
This
in
is
this
his
movie.
first
Yeah.
movie. This is his first movie. And his first lines are, "I like your boobs." Like, right? What?
Foreshadowing his
But
future.
we've
sounds
known
like
people
him.
like that being in public
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
We've known, like, I knew dudes that pulled.
Everybody in
fucking-
this movie I've known.
I
in
knew,
some form
yeah,
or fashion.
we've known dudes that pulled knives out on
just
fucking
like
kids
Yeah.
in
Like
fucking
do coke in the
bathroom.
lockers. Like
Yeah.
I've
Yep.
been
Yep.
there.
The guy with the beard and the fucking mustache.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
used to have sex in the back of school buses on the back from
in the
band trips and
buses,
shit.
yeah, dude. Cop dome
man.
in between English classes.
Yes,
Those
like what
things
the fuck, you
that
know? Like
happen.
this is real shit, and like people
Yeah.
ignore that happens. This movie doesn't ignore the significance of life at that age, which I think is something that really resonates with everybody. For me, favorite character, man. After this watch, I especially watching the theatrical and the director's cut back to back. And I don't want to keep comparing them too much, but like the dad had such an expanded role. I was able to really sink my teeth into that difference. And so I thought that was really good. He's the guy in Southland Tales who plays the Republican
Yeah.
presidential candidate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. Richard Kelly likes to
dots.
yeah, connecting those dots. But I really liked his performance, especially comparing it between the two versions. And I also think Patrick Swayze did a hell of a job. But
Yeah.
whoever voiced Frank, that's like one of my favorite performances in the whole goddamn movie. Because it's just so freaking creepy, man. The wake up. Like, I obviously I
deep
don't
voice,
have that effect.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah,
that
dude.
effect. I wish
That was
I wish I
creepy.
did.
That was some demon shit.
So yeah, it was. So we also, in addition to the amazing performances that really helped sell this, he had amazing cinematography. He had a great grand vision that got scaled back a little bit in the theatrical cut, but enough to leave an impression. When you really dive into the film, especially watching the director's cut, you see it fleshed out. The music is a little bit different, and the way the soundtrack is, but we're not there yet. But there is some kind of a weird foreboding, melancholy atmosphere in this movie that is brought about by the way that it's cut together, the way that it's paced out. I think the third act is paced way too quick in the theatrical cut, but in the director's cut, it's like more even for me. But like, there is something about the style of this film and the way it's structured together that is mysterious but engaging, compelling. Right? It's a movie that, at the end of the first watch, we all admit we didn't know what the fuck was going on. We didn't know what the movie was, but there was something about it though that made us like, but we liked it. Like we wanted to get back into it, dive back in. What do you think about the style and structure? Because that's what I think really, the fact that this is his first feature film, Richard Kelly, and it's so tragic. This movie hit cult classic. Southland Tales bombed. The box kind of tanked. Dude hasn't done anything since. He's only done 3 movies. And this movie to me is one of the freaking most brilliant films I've ever seen. It's like John Hughes by way of Orson Welles and fucking Robert Anton Wilson. I don't know what else to say. Jelani, what do you think about the style, the structure of this film?
I think it's well put together. Because I mean, technically you're not supposed to know about an end of the world event. So if you're going to tell me a story about the end of the world, Southland Tales does a great job of it, and Donnie Darko does a great job, especially because I like that movie more, to be honest, because it's put together well. It does have that slice of the kids together. It has slices of philosophy and time travel. It's so many different just niche effects that are put together. It's visceral too. It gets you like right there. It's understandably like one of the most put together films for a superhero, because basically Donnie Darko is a superhero in a lot of different ways, and the way it's put together, the way he's shown, and the way the people are brought in his path to make this decision for this film. I mean, the music works well with it too. I know we're going to talk about the music, but I liked it. It's put together well. It's a great film. Both cuts are great film. I like in the director's cut, they tell you those pages of who is what for that book. It makes sense. It's just I love Frank's costume. It's so clean. It's
I want to
like,
be that for Halloween next year.
Yeah. And how cool it is, like that Frank like designed that costume. Like, was that a part of the plan, that he was supposed to make a bunny costume that looked, that ominous to tell the end of the world? It's put together so well. And I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. It's a great film, like altogether. And the concept is so high concept. Like, I never thought that you would have like so many different layers in a film playing all at once. That's what Southland Tales does, but I think this does it better. It's just, I don't know what it is about it, and I like the way it's like saturated. The colors are saturated in this film.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's dark. It's
very monochromatic, but at the same time, kind of beautifully rendered, right?
Mm-hmm. It's got a little bit of both. And like for $4 million, that CG is fairly decent. I like I like the spears that come out. You know, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like they did that on Windows 98.
It looks organic
You know?
almost.
Yeah, it looks organic
Like
to
it's
the
legit.
thing.
I
Yeah,
was confused. I was watching and I'm like, I don't even know how did they did that. I don't even,
Right.
It looks real, dude. You know,
Yeah.
like what
It
is
was good
this?
because it's just so simple.
It
Yeah.
is. That's all you
Just
need.
the translucent thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bubble.
What's really crazy is it was
This-
a complex shot. They had somebody that had one of those really big bubble rings, so they had to like make a really long bubble, and then they had
Had
to
to green
like
screen him out.
they had to
Well,
green
maybe
screen
like a
him
green
out.
suit.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's
Yeah.
insane.
No,
Who
period. That's
thinks
not
of
true.
that?
That's not
Oh.
true.
I'm like, no shit.
Could you imagine how many takes? Fuck, they fucking burst the bubble.
Burst
Do it
again.
again. Do it again. You got to do it just right, asshole. Come on. Perry, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
I would love to have like a sneak peek, like be a fly in the wall in that editing process, because like the whole movie, up to a certain point, it just stops and then rewinds. And I'm like, damn, I wonder what the creative process was in saying, all right, this is going to be the point where we're just going to throw the entire movie in reverse. I thought that was so cool watching that. So yeah, I thought the editing of the movie, the pacing, the complexity, the not knowing what exactly was happening. Like he was off of medication. Is he seeing this bunny? You know,
He's
is this
schizophrenic. Or
yeah,
is
is this a legit
Yeah.
thing? Is this not a legit thing? Is he the only one that sees it? Is this could other people see it? You know, like what is this thing coming out of his chest? Is this showing him his destiny, or can he choose a path? Can he stray
Right.
away from this path? Like it's like it was so much that there, you know. So yeah, no, the way that they shot this, like the cinematography, like you were saying, saturated, that those colors that they used in the movie, like it starts off and it's so cool, and in the background you see like the mountains, but they're like almost pixelated purple, like a corrupt JPEG file, you know, and it was like it was so cool, so cool. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I still don't understand. You guys keep referring to an end of the world event. I don't remember an end of the world event.
Okay, so
Explain it.
Yes.
okay,
please, thank
I
you.
guess this is the time to go ahead and get into this. All right, so this is this is more illuminated in the director's cut, of course,
Okay.
and even watching the movie with the director's commentary. So in the director's cut, they actually show you text from the book, The Philosophy of Time Travel, which basically kind of leads this idea that, okay, we exist in what we will call the primary universe, okay? And
Very
every
fun.
once in a while, there's a corruption in the fourth dimension of time that causes a tangent universe to pop up. So it's a temporary bubble universe
Okay.
Like
pops
a
up.
split in the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
identical, right?
Yeah.
And so that tangent reality, that tangent universe is unstable by nature, unlike the primary universe. And its instability will cause it to collapse in a matter of a few weeks. Okay. So that's why Frank tells him in 28 days and was it 6 hours and
Yeah.
42,
That's
28, something like that, right?
28 seconds.
He
Yeah.
tells them that's when the world's going to end. The world they are existing in. The moment you see that jet engine fall down into Donnie's empty bed, you're in the tangent universe. Okay. And so what happens in these instances is that when the tangent universe collapses, there's a possibility because every time a tangent universe pops in, as part of a glitch, there is some artifact that duplicates itself. So there's a primary universe one, a tangent universe one, and then a third one that rumbles around, right? And lands in the tangent universe. It's usually an object of metal, which is what they say in the book.
Or water.
When I say things with certainty, it's because it's from the text of this book that they created and put on a website at first and then into the director's cut. Okay. The metal is usually, or the artifact is usually metal. The artifact in this movie is the jet engine. So there is a jet engine that doesn't belong. That is the jet engine that is on the plane, allegedly flying around like normal, a duplicate of another one in a primary universe that will eventually take his mother and his sister back from Star Search to where they live. And isn't the movie set, like it's set in like Iowa or
It's
something? isn't it?
1988 in Iowa. Yeah.
Iowa. Okay. I don't know many movies set in Iowa, so that's cool to
Yeah.
think about. It's also a Halloween film, so that's always interesting to.
Mhm.
I never remember that about it, that it's a Halloween movie, and so we never care. Like we could have done this for Horror Fest, but it's not a
Yep.
horror movie, so. But I guess it's appropriate that we're doing it first after Horror Fest. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so what happens is that some force then chooses a living receiver. That there is a vortex between the tangent and the primary universe at the point of the time-space anomaly. And it's
Okay.
over the Darko's house in this instance. That's why the jet engine pops there and falls in Donnie's room. A living receiver is chosen by some force. And in this movie, Richard Kelly and Donnie Darko kind of lead into the idea that that force is quote-unquote God, right? And we'll get into all that. But they choose somebody who is then guided to their purpose of removing this duplicate artifact, because since there are two of the same objects in this tangent universe, when it does collapse, the two identical objects will cause an instability and create a black hole and end all of reality, including the primary universe. Basically, I'm going to try to shorten this real quick. There's plenty of information out there. Check it out. But basically what happens is Donnie Darko gets chosen, and everybody in the movie, they're either the manipulated living or the manipulated dead. And the difference, as described in the book, is that the manipulated dead can travel through time. So Frank is somebody who dies in the tangent universe that this force can guide back and forth, who guides Donnie into this path. Right? Gretchen also dies. She's manipulated dead. Everybody else is manipulated living. Everybody adds something to the journey to get him to the point. Drew Barrymore, cellar door. Noah Wiley gives him the book. The crazy lady in the street, there you go.
He wrote the book.
Wrote the book. The bullies get Gretchen thrown out into the road. Frank runs her over. The therapist guides him into certain notions and helps him figure things out. And all of that jazz, right? So everybody is there guiding and manipulating Donnie into the idea that what he has to do is this. And in the book, it says that the receiver will be granted powers to conjure water. That's when he floods the school. Great strength. That's when he stabs the bronze statue with the axe.
With the axe.
He also can conjure fire. That's when he burns Patrick Swayze's home. He also has telekinesis. And what he does is he winds up ripping the jet engine, because at the end he reaches enlightenment and understands what he's got to do.
Because he's killed a man.
This is what he's struggling with throughout everything. He's holding on to what he can, but once Gretchen dies, once he's killed a man, like Cypress Hill said, how I could just kill a man. Once he's done that, he realizes and accepts the sacrifice, the true purpose. He is a Christ-like figure. Okay? Patrick Swayze, he literally calls him the Antichrist. Like, think about that next time you watch the movie. That Donnie Darko is the Christ and that Patrick Swayze's character is the Antichrist. So think about that. And then when you watch Southland Tales and realize that that is a postmodern, early oddies reinterpretation of the book of Revelation, it gets really weird into what's going on in Richard Kelly's head as he's making these two films. So Donnie Darko has to rip this jet engine off, create a time portal with his telekinesis. You see the portal, the black hole starting to form and all that shit over his house. And there's that weird moment where he's just staring and it almost looks like he's holding in a shit. You know what I'm saying? He's using telekinesis to rip the jet engine off, create a time portal. He sends it through that portal into the primary universe. So he removes the anomaly from the tangent universe. So therefore, the tangent universe can collapse without endangering all of reality. He throws the jet engine back into the primary universe. And even though it is a duplicate there as well, it's a stable universe, unlike the tangent universe. So it can handle the paradox of two of the same items, right?
Yeah.
So, but when he drops it, of course, it falls on him. He dies. And so through his sacrifice, and he realizes there's something about it. It also states in the book that anybody who's part of the manipulated living or manipulated dead has a sense. As soon as that tangent universe collapses, they wake up in the primary universe
memories,
and they have like subconscious memories like faint echoes of what they've gone through. And that's why at the end they all wake up, freak the fuck out. That's basically the movie.
Holy shit.
That's Donnie Darko. Yeah. That's all of it. Gosh, you explained it really well.
Thank you. I felt like I went a little bit long, but anyway.
That's not what the movie means.
That's got fucked hard in my brain, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I need to like rewatch that with like that mindset now.
You got to watch
that's
the
like,
director's
whoa.
cut, man. You got to watch
Yeah,
the director's
no, you're
cut.
It
right.
has all of it in it.
That's crazy. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
The theatrical cut doesn't let you know that.
No. Not
So
at
if he dies, then the Patrick Swayze, the pedo, he keeps living.
and he gets away with it.
Yeah, he's alive. But the thing is, and I was going to get into this bit, but like one of the things I think is being spoken here is that these people are changed because of the experience. You ever woken up from a dream that you felt was so real that it literally kind of changed you, right? Where like it illuminated something about you. Patrick Swayze wakes up at the end like crying. Maybe this is like the force, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, but Donnie calls it God, God's channel. This is like also a way. Like, why do these tangent universe? They make it very purposeful to say in the text of the book that they show that nobody knows why these things even start. So it's almost as if, what if God starts them so that there is a hero who can collapse it and they have their own arc in redemption, but then it also causes other people to awaken, right? And maybe this is the moment that like causes him to like admit what I don't know, something like that. But if you remember, the health gym teacher, she woke up crying. She remembers. Do you get what I'm saying? So it does allude to the idea, I think, of the causing of, like, I think a lot of things will continue to go on as they will. I think that's part of it as well. I don't know. We could talk about this movie for fucking hours, but I want to know, Brooks, what do you think about the style and structure of the film, especially after that long ass explanation? I knew that was coming though. I knew we had to get that out.
I'm happy it came.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I think this movie is very structurally is as good as it gets. This movie's kind of like a quilt, and it's like just woven together out of these different character experiences. Like Donnie obviously gets the most, time, but like every character is important. Every character has a use and a need in the story, like from his sister to or either one of his sisters, his parents, his dipshit friends, the bullies. Like every character has something to add to the overall story. And also, like, in the pace, it's like when you put like a time limit in the beginning of a movie, like, when he sees Frank and he tells him he has so and such time until, the end of the world. And like, throughout the movie, like it'll cut to like, so many days until, the thing. But it doesn't feel very like, it isn't suspenseful, I guess. It just, it's just kind of, for me at least, it just makes me like interested to see what's coming next, like, oh, so we're getting a little bit closer, like what's going to happen now?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, there's not a wasted character in this script.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of something so freaking tight. And it's especially when you like, I hate to keep saying this, man. I saw that Jay didn't like the director's cut. I know plenty of people don't, and they think that it over explains it, and they like the ambiguity of the theatrical cut, because if you just come out of that first theatrical cut, you got the idea that it could have all been in his head, part of his delusions or whatnot. But to know that in the story that there's a definitive science fiction thing going on that's
so
also
cool.
very metaphysical and tied into like spirituality and the essence of God and predestination versus free will and shit like that. That's crazy. And yeah, I see a lot of love for Sam out there in the chat. So I do want to go ahead and just say this, but yeah, man, we love Sam. So we hated to hear the news 100%. RIP Sam from Sam's Tangled Web. Seriously. That tore me up this morning, man. It wasn't a good start to my day, to be honest. But we're moving on. the music in this film is absolutely brilliant. The composer is Michael Andrews. When I look it up, it says Michael Andrews, also known as Elgin Park. This is Wikipedia. Is an American multi-instrumental musician, producer, and film score composer. He is best known for his cover version of the Tears for Fears song, Mad World. But it's not the dude, it's not Gary Jules who does the Tears for Fears Mad World cover at the end of this film. So that's a, don't be mistaken. Which he recorded. Oh, so he was the writer of that. Holy cow, the composer of this film wrote that song for Gary Jules. Holy cow. He's the one that did the I didn't know that. Anyway, I love the actual music in this film, like the composed score. In the director's cut, I hate being that guy. In the director's cut, you get a whole lot more of this like dark, foreboding music in these scenes of like, if you think it's intense when Jake Gyllenhaal's just staring at the camera, there's more of that shit. You know, there's more of this foreboding atmosphere provided by the music. And the song choice is brilliant. The ending with that Gary Jules Mad World, having actual Tears for Fears do Head Over Heels for one of the opening songs. Like, and here's another thing. In the theatrical cut, they use a different song in the opening than they do in the director's cut. In the director's cut, they use In Excess. We'll never tear us apart. Bum, 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 bum. That was the expensive one they had to cut. In Excess, man. Think about that. Just think about that when you next time you sleep on In Excess. Just think they were too expensive for Donnie Darko's theatrical cut. I think every musical choice underneath the Milky Way tonight, bruh, this whole score, this whole soundtrack, it's just like Southland Tales. The music is perfectly crafted. Richard Kelly chooses music for his films the way Michael Mann does. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, that's the highest compliment I can give. Jelani, what do you think about the music in this film?
I like it. It's kind of muted for the score for me though, because I don't really remember much about the score. But I love the Mad World. I love that song as far as soundtrack goes. It's just it's so melancholy. It makes all the sense of the world where it is in the film. And I love the Head Over Heels Tears for Fears song. It's so catchy, man, and it's like out of nowhere, and I forgot it was in this movie. I really do, and I like the NXS song too. I mean, it's a good soundtrack. I like the soundtrack more than I would say the score because it's more memorable songs. It's pretty decent though, but I like it.
They blend well together for me, though,
They do.
Especially in the more extended director's cut over the theatrical cut for me. But I will say, so they use Underneath the Milky Way Tonight. You know that song, Underneath the Milky Way Tonight. You know, all that. I wish I knew what you were. Well, whatever. You know, I love that song. And that song is played after him and Gretchen. Presumably, here's a weird stretch in the movie. She shows up. My mom's missing. I think my crazy psychotic stepdad like kidnapped her, maybe killed her. So then they go and, as Perry likes to say, knocking them boots. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, regardless of how that's a weird timing for that event, like even it's as strange as Anakin and Padme getting it on after he admits that he just slaughtered this whole village of sand people.
Well, you remember the first kiss was like after basically those two dickheads had like bullied her in front of the whole class.
And it's
like,
also
humiliated her. That was her first kiss was like right after that. So.
And also remembering that Gretchen is manipulated dead and manipulating and leading Donnie into a certain light. And at this moment, it's time. And I honestly believe this is when he loses his virginity. And I was just trying to say that's the perfect song for after you lose your virginity, like in middle or high school, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you feel, even though it was probably not the best performance you've ever given. Speaking of best performances, Perry, what do you think about the music in this film?
What's that song? Mad World?
Yes.
Mad World.
It's a Tears for Fears song that Gary Jules and apparently the composer of the film like did a cover of that slowed it up into the film. Dude, perfect song.
I've heard that song like plenty of times. I've never really sat down and listened to like the lyrics, and the actual lyrics of the song are so like I could close my eyes and you could almost like be in tears by how beautiful that song is, and it fits so perfectly with this movie. I gotta say, yeah, the music in this was great. The
It's
Killing
Wasn't there
Moon,
like an emo metal song made like
is there
sampling
really?
this song like years back? I can't remember if it's this song or another one.
which
Oh,
what'd
that'd
you
be
say?
awesome.
There was like an emo metal song that sampled Mad World.
Oh,
I can't remember who it was, but
I don't know. I don't listen to much emo metal, but I guess you do,
you'd know it if
Brooks.
you heard it. It was like a big song back in the day.
I got you. No, it's a perfect song, Perry. It even
Yeah.
literally mentions teachers. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's just it's such and it is a sad song because it's like, I mean, the whole idea. I mean, everybody has those thoughts when people run in circles. It's a very, very mad world, but just the whole like how like in the opening of the song, he's just talking about all these people they're just distracting themselves, they're just trying to feel good and ignore things, and I
what
don't
does it
know,
say
man.
that happiest dreams I ever have are the ones that I die in?
Yeah,
Like, dude, like
I
what?
find it
the-
kind of funny. I
Yeah.
find it
Find it
kind
kinda
of sad. The
Oh,
dreams in which I'm dying
that's
are
so
the best
good.
I ever had.
It's
Yeah,
so
man.
good.
Oh,
Crazy.
two Tears for Fears songs in this film, even though only one of them was actually performed by Tears for Fears. But anyway, Brooks, what do you think about the music in this film?
I think the music is really good in this film, like both the score and the you know the pop songs in it. Well, like a lot of people like dunk on '80s music and say it's not very good. Like I remember, especially in the '90s, people were like really down on '80s music. But like I've always had a soft spot for '80s music because I was
I love
like
the
that was
80s.
the music of my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was
Yeah.
just a lad. Like I remember like hearing Tears for Fears on the radio and shit like that. So yeah, like and you know, those songs like fit in with the mood of the movie, but the soundtrack to this movie is like really good too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just got that more like gravity, you know.
Yeah.
If it shakes you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
As the
Like-
kids say today, it slaps.
Yeah.
Is there a better time period than the 80s? Like, if I had to go back in time and relive another decade, I would like to go back and relive the 80s. Like, I feel like there's so much good music, TV,
TV,
movies
yeah.
that were released that you could experience genuinely that first time experience
Yeah.
of those things. It's
We
like,
had Video Store.
yeah,
you
how
know,
cool
we had,
would
we
that
had,
be?
We had Tab. We had Ecto Cooler.
I don't know.
The 80s was like a very transitional period, really, in history.
It really was. And we lived through it.
God, I
I
miss it.
can't think of a
Yeah.
better time
It's
period.
good times, man.
You remember we used to make fun of those fucking 40-year-olds that used to always like reminisce about how great it was in the
Yes.
fucking 70s?
Yes.
Yeah, that's who we are now.
That's us
Anyway,
now.
that's us now. What's this movie about? What's the theme? What's it saying to you, Jelani?
It's creation and destruction together. It's the beginning and the end of something. Like I said, like you said before, it's the tangent universe itself is ending or collapsing, and it's such a weird anomaly in our universe. You know, that something that like this could be possible. The fact that something can, and it's, I go back to what's her name, to Drew Barrymore's character,
Yeah.
and explaining that short story of how that house, like these kids decide to destroy this old man's house and burn his money because they found it, and how Donnie puts it, like how it's ironic that this is, you know, how it works, and it parallels itself to the story at play. So I think it's the creation of one world, the ending of the other, and it kind of mixes together. I think
It's about those opposites
the
coming
opposites
together as
coming
one.
together.
Yeah.
Love and fear.
Love.
You know,
Fear.
it's so strange.
I thought it was
So-
natural for an 8-year-old to wet the bed. I'm not afraid anymore.
Or wow,
I love that moment where the boom mic like dropping.
Yes,
Come on.
yes. Oh god.
And just they keep using the same music. He keeps repeating the same fucking lines. And like, I've in the past gotten into people like, especially on YouTube, that are like life coachy, right? But after like watching them for a couple months, you're like, they just say the same goddamn shit all the fucking time. I feel like that's what people do when they watch the weekly comic book review. And after 2 months, they're like, he just says the same fucking shit. It's dynamic, explosive, obnoxiously awesome.
Awesome. Solid. It's pretty solid.
Anyway, but no, like, and Drew Barrymore is leading him into that. So I've never read that short story either, right? But it's teaching him the power of destruction, and the idea that destruction, you can't have creation without destruction. Creation doesn't exist unless you got to break down. There's a force to break down. There's a force to build up. You can't build up without breaking down. If you're going to the gym, right? You got to tear your fucking muscles apart to rebuild them stronger and get them gains. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to like study, if you're trying to learn, you got to like fucking like read shit above your level until you can get into it. It's difficult. It's hard. You got to break the lazy neurons in your brain and activate those super smart ones. You get what I'm saying? You got to destroy to build. You know, and that's 100% what they're talking about there. And then Watership Down, that added element in the director's cut leads into sacrifice, because that's about the bunny accepting his fate. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, bruh, come on. In a time of war, and what feels more warlike to anybody who's never actually experienced war than a high schooler in 1988? You know what I'm saying? Perry, what's this movie about to you?
I don't know if this is gonna make any sense, but this movie to me raises the question of: is there already a predetermined outcome, or do I have my own free will? Am I consciously making these decisions, or are these decisions being influenced on me? You know what I mean? That makes any sense?
Yes.
That's what I got from this.
No, that's exactly what it is. That moment, and the crux of the matter for that theme is the conversation with Noah Wyle as the science teacher, right? And it's a really subtle moment put in the movie, but I think it's really powerful when they get to a certain point and he's like, I can't continue this conversation. I could lose my job, right? And because now he's going into like metaphysical theory and religion and God, spirituality, right? And this is personal to me, right? Because I was going to be like a Baptist preacher, right? Like that was the road I was on in middle school through high school. And then it abruptly ended because my mentor, who was my pastor, got kicked out of the church because he was bold enough to put out the idea that predestination and free will exists all at the same time, right? And so I'll go ahead and just step in real quick because I know Brooks has got something profound to say. But to me, it is that. It's about the predestination versus free will, and how that itself, just like creation and destruction, like Jelani said, that's a fucking illusion. There is not creation and destruction. Those are actually two sides of the same fucking coin, and that coin is called reality. That coin is called progress, right? And then we got predestination and free will, and that argument, but in actuality, they're two sides of the same fucking coin. That coin is reality and humanity and the human experience, right? We have free will and we have a predestined path sometimes, right? And if you want to accept the idea of a force outside of this, right, which is what Donnie Darko's doing, if you accept the idea of a force outside of this, you accept the idea that there is a God, right? For instance, let's just have a thought experiment. Let's say you accept the idea that there is a God who is omniscient, meaning he knows everything, right? How do you believe in free will at all, right? God made no. Just because this outside force, whatever you want to call it, knows how things work and can plan accordingly, if you want to label it that way, doesn't change the fact of what's going on. Here's the best analogy. This is what my pastor told me. Why he got kicked out of the church. It was bullshit. But he said, when you, for instance, let's just imagine you're a football fan, you record the game. Okay. When you're watching that game on the replay, you already know the outcome. Say it was spoiled for you. Somebody said that, your Patriots lost, or your Cowboys lost, or your Panthers lost, or whatever the hell it was, right? Say you already know the outcome of the game. That does not change that the decisions made within the reality that you are separate from of that pre-recorded tape or whatever, those decisions are still active in that time. We got to look and see a force outside of which, right? But then there's the idea that they both exist, so they're both true. So some people do have maybe a predestined path for the good of others. That's what Donnie Darko has to do. That's what Christ had to do in mythology. That's like what a lot of these forces, a lot of these messianic, sacrificial God type figures, Osiris, Mithra, like we can go down the list of all these Christ-like figures. Superman even goddamn died, for humanity. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is the accepting of a predestined will, but it is based on choice. So this is about how there's both. There's science fiction and there's metaphysical religious thinking. It can work together. And to me, this is about bringing together those opposites and literally bringing together the universes into one whole. Sometimes that requires a sacrifice that's going to happen, even though, there's a moment in this film. I honestly think the moments like the Halloween party, maybe, or maybe right before that's kind of like the Garden of Gethsemane. You know what I'm saying? Like where, this really parallels the story of Christ to me, man, honestly. And if you look at like when Christ goes into the temple and turns over all the tables of the people selling shit, right? And Donnie Darko's out there as a disruptor to their society and showing the bullshit and the lies and the dirtiness underneath. And then he has those moments where he doesn't want to accept his fate, his reality. And sometimes we realize we have to accept our fate. And sometimes those fate is based on our choice. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. I'm rambling as fuck now. So Brooks, tie it all together. What is Donnie Darko about?
Well, this movie has like themes aplenty, but the one that I think I got the most out of it was the kind of relationship between humanity and authority. How
Nice.
and if you're going to tell a story like that, the best person to use would be a high school student, because they're the ones most affected by authority, because authority is always comes down the hardest on those that need the most guidance.
Yeah.
And that's what, when we think of authority, like ideally authority is there to protect us and to guide us, but sometimes the authority figures are corrupt and crooked, and they make things harder and worse. Like, they tell you, oh, there's only this and this. There's only two things, when there's more. And if you try to challenge them or say anything to it, they just beat you down. And like, even like the authority figures that, actually want to help, like, Drew Barrymore's character and the science teacher, their authority doesn't even extend as far as the more crooked authority figures, like the gym teacher and Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Like the bad guys run the world, and like sometimes all the good guys can do is just shrug and be like, well, what can you do?
Yeah. And maybe it's
And,
not so
I
much.
think that's like why Donnie is so like angry, and a lot of the times is because he sees that.
Yeah.
And and he feels like he has the power to just go ahead and say it,
As one should, and sometimes maybe it's not so much
back
as
to the father's speech. Everybody's bullshitting,
yeah.
and they're afraid of people like you who are not afraid to call them on their bullshit.
See, that's another crux moment that's not in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
That really adds a relationship, because there's a relationship between him and his father, and there's something there, and it works, and it works so well. And it's maybe sometimes it's not necessarily that the bad guys run everything, but it's that the jackasses and dumbasses run everything. You know what I'm saying? The fuck asses, I should say. You know,
why is a principal let
me
a
a
life
fuck
coach
ass?
in? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
weird.
because remember it says like health. If you look at the chalkboard, it says health education will now be taught in this room for the next 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because she's a teacher who has latched on to this dude's.
To
At the
life
time,
coach.
there wasn't a YouTube, but let's just say some YouTube life coach, and is like, he's local, so like she's obsessed with him, and it shows the ridiculousness of certain things, and the amalgamation of things. That's what I love. Like this movie does go really deep into this yin yang idea of like chaos and order and destruction, creation, predestination, free will, metaphysical thinking, the reality and nature of God, and are we locked into these certain channels, but can we change it, and all this kind of shit. And at the same time, it's a fucking 1980s coming of age teenage tale, like something John Hughes did, but even more brutally honest and less melodramatic. Let's be honest about that, right?
He called his mom a bitch, dude. My mom would have
Bro.
beat my ass, dude.
Yeah.
But that's a moment, man.
He was saying to his parents, I was like, ugh.
That's another thing, man. The mother in this movie is absolutely fucking phenomenal. She does so much with so fucking little, man, in this film. She's absolutely
my favorite scene of her is when they're at the PTA meeting and she calls out the other lady, the
He's
gym
all
teacher
watch
lady.
Bonanza.
Yeah. She And remember, she's bitching, but she ain't a bitch. I love the dad. All of his dadisms. He does it so much, man. Like you're
Well, he starts out in the movie like turning his leaf blower on his daughter to shut her up.
Yeah. And like when the fuck ass shit happens and he's like laughing. And then when like
fuck ass?
He told me to forcibly put the life fear card up my anus. And he's like and then there's the moment too where there's a great moment because the mom performs really well in this too. When the therapist tells them that she thinks Donnie Darko is like a paranoid schizophrenic, right? And you can see the emotion, right? But before they get to that heaviness, they mention what he said to his teacher, and the dad says, "Well, some of those were deserved." I love it. Speaking of deserving it, let's rate this film. You out there in the chat, out of 5, you digs. What do you give Donnie Darko? And Jelani, what do you give it?
This is like my 3rd time watching it. I watched the director's cut twice. So 5 altogether, yes. So I'll give this a 4, you digs.
4.
This is a decent film. I mean, I've watched it more than once. I'm sure to watch it again. It's one of those movies that makes you scratch your head, and you need a head scratcher as a film.
Yeah,
you just do.
You got to work for it sometimes, man.
Yeah, sometimes
it can't all be goddamn Tears for Fears and Fast and Furious. You know what I'm saying?
You just can't come at you like that. So I like movies that make you think. I like movies that you have to watch it twice to understand it. Sometimes it's worth it. So it gives you that rewatchability. I give it a 4.
Nice. 4 you digs from Jelani. That's respectable, I believe, especially for someone's first feature film. Come on, right? Yeah. I'm really excited for your first feature film, Perry. I know you're building up to it. Perry, what do you give this movie out of 5 you digs?
Real quick, they put Donnie Darko in Call of Duty. Like, he has transcended 20 years and still in pop culture, like relevant today as he was when he came out. The little rabbit guy.
Frank's crazy. Frank?
Yeah.
Frank's in that?
I'm going to give this a solid 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
The fact that somebody came out of film school and made such a mind fuck of a movie, that's still fucking me up right now. Mm-hmm. I'm fucking almost 30 years old. Like, this shit was wild to me, dude. I've been binge watching movies left and right, and this one takes you for a spin. And it really makes you think and makes you want to talk and like, what do you think about this? What like that feeling is so good. So I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah, man! Perfect score from Perry. I like that. Yeah. What about you, Brooksy? What do you think?
Yeah, I give this one a 5 too. I like this movie a lot, and it's just such a joy to watch. It's like I didn't even mind watching 2 different versions of it back to back.
Yeah,
it's like that's rare, and especially it's not a short movie. It's like 2 hours and some change for the theatrical, and like 2.5 for the director's cut.
It's under 2 for the theatrical, but it is like 2:13, 2:15 for the director's cut.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a chore. It's not a chore to watch. It's just a really enjoyable movie. Because it gets you to thinking. Keeps you engaged by making you think more about what's going on. observing more things, like, you take a closer look each time, and there's still like things, that you don't quite get yet, but maybe you will on your next go around.
Makes you feel like you might have missed something. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, I don't like the
Keeps you on
whole
your
arc,
toes.
the arc with the Asian girl. Like, I know that has more significance than
I think it's just showing the
taken it.
empathy of Donnie is what the main
I
Yeah.
think
point.
there's more to it, though. I think there's supposed to be a little more to it.
Well, it's showing a little bit more nuance about the experience, I think, of high school, but or like, I guess they're in like are they like in one of those high schools that like is a middle school and a high school or something? Because like his sister's really young. She's at the same school. So like, that's weird.
Well, she's like 2 years old or a year older than him, I think.
Now, I'm talking about the other sister. Maggie's already graduated.
She did?
I'm talking about
Okay.
his younger
She's going to-
sister.
she's going to
Oh,
Harvard.
yeah.
The one in
Sparkle
was it
like-
Twilight Sparkle? What the hell's that? Sparkle Motion.
Sparkle Motion.
Sparkle Motion. All right.
Yeah. The Vay Chase.
Sometimes I doubt your dedication to Sparkle Motion.
For me, 5 you digs. I love this film. I think it's so resonating. It's a movie that I didn't understand when I first watched it, but it kept drawing me back in. And the more I study it, the more I rewatch it, the more fascinating it becomes. Like Brooks said, I did not mind watching 2 different versions of this film. It was almost like its own primary and tangent movie. It was such a great experience revisiting this movie and Southland Tales. We'll get to the box one day. I like the box. It's not quite as reality mind-bending as Donnie Darko or Southland Tales, but I love this movie. Perfect music, perfect performances, an amazingly ambitious script that really nails it and pays it off for me, in my opinion. The director's cut, 5 you dig. So 5 from me, Perry, and Brooks, and a 4 from Jelani. So that's a PCP average of 4.8. 69 dudes. Yes. Nice. Let's look at the chat real quick. Where are we at? Did I pass it all up? Yep. Let's see. Steph, Missing Link says 4 out of 5 you digs. He agrees with you, Jelani. Bobby De La Ghetto says 4.5 you digs. I got these shades on. Waki Sashmi's Tea House says it's a straight 5 for me. That soundtrack. Absolutely. Things that make you go, I like that. Jay says 4 for the theatrical and a 2.5 for the director's cut. Damn. 62 Lefty Blues, 5 you digs. It's got a great beat and you can dance to it. Yeah. And then Ev is here with 5 you digs. Hell yeah, Station. All right. So Donnie Darko, that concludes our look back at Donnie Darko. We'll be right back, of course, with PCP Back Chat. But first, join us tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. But I guess for 1 week, we're becoming Dylan's Romance Fantasy Show because we're talking about Legend. So I don't know where the fuck I don't know where the fuck that came from. Dylan wanting to do this for the horror show, but all right. What okay, let's do it. All right. I'm ready. That's tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show at 7 p.m. Central Time, I believe. Probably more like 7:15. You know how we do. And next week, join us. We got Bullseye Bob from Everything Comics joining us. We're going to be talking about the Kurosawa classic 7 Samurai.
It's been ages.
One of the best movies
so freaking awesome.
Ever. It's so like one of the best movies ever. And I'm super pumped to do that. And then after that, we'll take a quick break. And then we'll be doing some Christmas movies. So we're excited for that. And we're already starting the lineup for PCP Movie Night in 2022 with our grandiose move to Monday night, bringing back the idea of hashtag Movie Monday. But I'll give you 3 teases of what's coming up in the first quarter of 2022. First of all, how about the Don Coscarelli classic Beastmaster? I've been itching to watch that one. How about Weird Science? Speaking of John Hughes and teenage movies. And we got a little thing called March Madness that we like to do where we kind of do a mini horror fest and kind of focus on movies about being mad and crazy shit, right? And we're going to do a little movie from Michael Mann called Manhunter. So those are some little sneak peeks. It's a really fantastic lineup. We hope you join us. But we'll be right back. We're just taking a quick break. Thank you for joining us here. And one more thing.
One more.
How does one suck a fuck? What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to the show. PCP Back Chat's what we're doing now.
What's up?
The show after the show. So, that Marvel shit today, like the little Moon Knight teas and the She-Hulk teas, and
I didn't see anything.
you got Disney Plus.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. So go in there. There's like this Disney Plus Marvel special. You got to watch this, like 15 minutes long. The first like 10 minutes are bullshit. It's just like a new trailers cut for like what we've already seen. Like WandaVision's got a new
I
trailer.
heard the Moon Knight trailer dropped.
Yeah, well, it's not a
Shang-Chi's back.
it's not a trailer. It's like there's a new Hawkeye trailer that shows an extended segment, and it looks really good. They show you like a minute of Moon Knight and it looked really cool. They show you like a little tiny bit of She-Hulk. They show you a little bit of Miss Marvel, and then they tease some other things coming up. Like they're bringing. What do you guys think about this one? They're bringing the X-Men animated series back in a new animated series called X-Men '97.
The first episode better start with.
Is it going to look the same?
On X-Men.
On X-Men.
Yeah, it's going to be a continuation of the story.
What?
And allegedly the animation style. We'll see.
Hopefully. Because that still holds up
Let's
today.
Keep it. Yeah. Let's see that happen. I hope
Brooks took the shades off. I'm taking the shades off too. I can't see fucking shit, man.
We're not talking about the movie anymore. So I figured
that was totally a Teen Dog.
Time to go back to regular vision.
Yeah,
regular vision now. Oh, now everything's fucking super weird. Jesus.
I can see.
Right.
Father, the sleeper has awakened.
Oh, anyway, you see a little bit of She-Hulk's ass and back.
Ooh, is it nice?
Well, not like, I mean, she's wearing like the She-Hulk outfit, but like that's all you see. You just see like
you see the curves.
Let's just say that this Michael Myers, the She-Hulk, what you see is like, and then it cuts.
Ooh.
Yeah. But you see Smart Hulk there. You see Smart Hulk. Moon Knight's weird because there's somebody talking. They show basically the Moon Knight trailer is this. You see a lot of Oscar Isaac like this. Like freaking the fuck out, right? And then at one point you hear a voice and I'm like, is that him? And he's like, sometimes I don't even remember who I am. And you're like, what the fuck is that voice? Who is that? And then another one's like, the voice in your head. And then you see Moon Knight like jump off of a fucking roof, like across one roof to another. And the moon's he's like in a silhouette in the moon when he's jumping. And it looks fucking badass. I'm pumped. And in the She-Hulk little bit, she breaks the fourth wall, looks directly at the camera and speaks. Just like in the John Byrne.
Yeah, like she did in the
the way she's supposed to. Yeah. Oh, John Byrne. That was a good run. She's a lawyer.
It's my John Byrne She-Hulk omnibus right there.
Yep.
Nice.
That was a good run. Yep.
It's heavy, but I figured that was way easier to get that than just to hunt down every single fucking John Byrne one. Like especially with this, here's the thing I love about omnibuses when they're in print, right? But like, if you want to read this John Byrne She-Hulk shit right now, that shit's expensive because all the speculators, did you know they're doing a She-Hulk show? And they're all like every speculator is thinking to themselves, nobody knows there's a She-Hulk show.
I'll be the first one.
Nah, but if that's what you do, congratulations. I'm sure they got a sales bump today with the trailer. So the Miss Marvel trailer looked cool too. The Hawkeye trailer looked really good. They are 100% pulling from the Matt Fraction run, 100%, because they even have some dude moving company, and the dudes in the tracksuits or the tracksuits like chasing them down. It's 100% the Matt Fraction run, so it looks really good.
Oh wow, we're gonna get consistent Marvel television shows
like
that go with the universe
at the same time.
Oh, probably back to back. They're gonna space these out.
Well, they spread them out enough. I guess we're kind of in the middle right now, right? Between What If, which I'll be honest, the animated shows, and they announced a Marvel Zombies animated show, and they announced the Agatha Harkness show, and an Echo show, which Echo, the Maya Lopez from
Is
the
she
David
gonna be like in the Ronin outfit? Are they gonna give her the Ronin outfit?
I don't know. In the Hawkeye trailer, you see Kate in the Ronin outfit in the very beginning.
I forgot when you take the mask off, you're not Ronin anymore. I think that's the rule.
Joram says, "Are you kidding? I have quite a few OG She-Hulks. Oh, speculation. Yeah, if you sell them right now and fund your hobby. That's what I say.
Sell them and buy NFTs.
Get the omnibus.
Right. I'm kidding. Don't buy NFTs.
I saw this thing the other day where it's like I want to see like some kind of crazy like art heist movie where someone goes to like steal an NFT and they just right click and hit save as.
He gets a crew together and then like that's just it.
I got an NFT too.
Son of a bitch.
But I'm pumped for some of the shows. Here's what's crazy though. more people right now are pumped for the Marvel TV series than we are the movies.
Yep. Because that Eternals, I don't know about it yet.
Did y'all watch that yet? I haven't watched it still.
I
haven't yet, but I intend to because
You haven't seen it?
I'm gonna watch it.
I wanted to finish the trade before I went to see the movie.
Bro, let's go see it. When you go see it, let me know, man. Let's go see it together. We'll do a video or some shit. We'll invite Jelani on. We'll do some video and put it out.
Don't fight me.
Here's the thing, though. This isn't the first Marvel movie I haven't been in a hurry to see, to be honest. But after the last two I've gotten, I'm really not in a hurry right now. Like, I'll watch it when it's convenient to me. I'd much rather rewatch Donnie Darko 2 times.
Just go to the projector guy, like, can you just put Donnie Darko on instead?
Bro, I've never saw this at the theater. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
We had a question last night when you had Justin on the show. It's a good question. We all answered it. I'm going to propose it to you guys now. Who's your favorite Image founder of those original Image 7? The Pantheon. Y'all knew who we were talking about. Who is your favorite out of all of them? Jelani?
Jim Lee. Like, as a creator, I love Wildcats.
Same.
So it was that art that pulled me over to Image because I was like, he's leaving, Mark. What? So I like how he did that. I'm not gonna take them all, but my second place would be Todd. So yeah, he did groundbreaking work, and he did with Spider-Man, and when he went over to Spawn, it was brilliant. Like I liked he made mythology, and he's still got that mythology going. It's character created. It's very strong. I know I'm taking 2, but I would go first with Jim Lee.
I mean, that's fine. I like that too, because I'll give you a top 3 real quick. First of all, at the time, it was Jim Lee for me. Like, I love Jim Lee the most at the time. Today, it's Todd McFarlane. I really respect what he did and how he kind of stayed true to the vision. But I also got to give a really solid mention to Eric Larson, because I've never necessarily been a fan, but the initial idea was that they just wanted to write and draw their own comics. The only one out of all of them who is still writing and drawing that same fucking comic is Eric Larson with Savage Dragon. He's still fucking making it. There's only 6,000 people reading it, but he's still fucking making it. And I really fucking respect that, man. I think that's awesome. What about you, Perry? Your favorite Image founder?
I'm gonna have to say Todd. I think not only his art, but his business mindset.
Yeah,
what he was able to do and
crazy.
push something. Dude, they're independent people. To be able to push this to make it to where now they're major competitors with Marvel and DC. It's huge what he did going into the toy lines, doing the TV show, a movie.
I own his stuff now.
What he did was amazing.
I agree. And it all came out of I sold you 2 million comics. You can't even give me a watch. You can't even give me a t-shirt. You make a t-shirt. You can't give me a t-shirt. We're walking out of here. My dad got a fucking watch for working at the company for 20 years. I don't do the best Todd McFarlane, but Jim Rugg, I think, over at Cartoonist Kayfabe does a really, really good one. But the best Todd McFarlane is done by Todd McFarlane. But I get what you're saying, dude. He's the entrepreneur. He's the reason Image worked.
Yep.
The other guys, Jim Lee was overwhelmed from the fucking beginning. Yep. That's why he sold. Rob Liefeld was the goddamn MC Hammer fucking story. He hired all of his fucking friends, and one day he was like, "Where's my fucking money all at?" Right? It was done because they weren't pumping out fucking books, right? They're putting it's an interesting story, Image. I do think one of the best classical looking artists, just solid of the artists, now looking, I think the best artist out of all of them was Mark Silvestri. Is what I think.
I agree.
Looking at just the artwork, his work is really fucking solid.
And he's consistent.
Look at that darkness stuff from the 90s, man. That's some. Ooh, that's some.
Which way?
I smell a comics revisited coming on Darkness, my man. By the way, we'll be speaking about the Darkness tomorrow night on Dylan's fantasy sappy ass romance show when we talk about Legends. So, I want everybody to join us for that. Brooks, your favorite image founder?
Sam Keith.
Of course, the Max.
Was he a founder?
No, I don't think so.
He's
No,
an
he's not
artist.
one of the 7. Now, Will Spertasio was,
Yeah.
but Sam Keith did come in that second wave with Del Keown, right? With Pitt,
Yeah.
and we had Sam Keith with the Max, dude. The Max was the shit, bruh.
I love
We
that.
start talking about image, we lose like fucking half our viewers. Isn't that weird?
That's 90. That's the 90s, man. That was a good decade too. That's a great.
And those were the
Time.
books they were getting spec'd on back in the day, were those image
Yeah.
number ones.
That's why we all still have them.
Motherfuckers just buying
Yep.
up like multiple copies of
So
Wildcat
right
number
there,
one,
yeah.
Spawn number one,
Fuck yeah, dude.
Youngblood number one.
I got a Youngblood number 1. I got a Spawn number 1. I got a Cyberforce number 1. I got a Savage Dragon number 1.
Wow.
I got a Wetworks number 1. I got a Shadowhawk number 1. I got all those number 1s. I have rebought them, but at the day, I like stubbed my nose to a lot of the image stuff. I honestly did. I was like, this isn't what I want. I want
you
this.
tore up a Spawn comic book every Wednesday.
The image was like all flash and little
Yeah.
substance, I think.
Yeah.
First.
But we needed that flash. There's
We did
there.
it.
Sometimes things get stagnant. You don't even
fun.
realize it, and you need that disruption. You know what I'm saying? Like in Donnie Darko. So that's a nice little. Let's not forget Jim Valentino. Yeah, he was the one. Jim Valentino is another big key figure there because Jim Valentino had produced underground comics. He knew the distribution. He knew the production. So like none of those dudes knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew how to draw, they knew how to market maybe, but like they didn't know how to like make it happen. And Jim Valentino did. And he's still there, bro. I mean, they're all still there, but Rob and Jim, right? And Will's kind of like sold out really, he like under the radar very quickly. Not super quickly, but anyway. That was our image discussion tonight. How are you doing?
It's like everyone played their part, like in Donnie Darko.
They're all manipulated, right? Rob Liefeld's the living receiver. Hey, it's Greg from Bearded Comic Bro. I saw you a little bit earlier on Will the Beast channel. He says, "Ooh, so this is where Perry is." Yeah, we're talking about crazy mindfuck sci-fi films. Perry's here. Perry.
That I am. Yes.
At mine and Drew's recommendation, you watched Day the Earth Stood Still. I watched your reaction. Bro, I'm glad you liked it, man.
Phenomenal movie. How cool is it that there's a space movie about an alien and the whole movie is just a warning? So cool. 10 out of 10.
I love that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Y'all got to check
Yeah.
out the reaction over at Perry's channel.
I'll watch it.
And he even clipped out from the live stream. We were on a random live stream. Me and Drew were there. And Perry's like, I'm doing sci-fi movies. You got any recommendations? And at the same time, me and Drew went The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Boom. Yeah.
And so like that's like one of my favorites, man. I'm glad you liked it. I really thought that was solid.
Yeah, it was
Brooks,
pretty
what's your
good.
favorite science fiction film? Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'd want to the first thought is Empire Strikes Back, but really it has to be Blade Runner.
Wow. That's bold.
Yes.
Like, well, yeah.
Is it bold? I don't think that's a bold choice.
It's
That's a
so many-
pretty
what
safe
cut?
one, but
What
I mean,
cut of Blade Runner?
it's a
What-
classic for a reason,
What,
Yeah,
what-
that's a
what-
good question.
what
What
cut?
what cut? What cut's your favorite?
The director's cut or the final cut, I guess.
Final cut. That's my
Final
favorite.
cut.
Final cut, bro.
What's
Final
the-
cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the final cut's the bit.
Okay.
It's the best.
I mean,
cut.
I'll give you that. It's fine. But it's weird because it has so many different ways to go. And
Kind of like Donnie Darko. Right?
yeah, exactly.
Boom.
So yeah.
There's Akira.
That's layered.
That's another like.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I don't know if I like
Akira's
Akira better than Blade Runner though.
Akira and Blade Runner are like very similar in certain aspects.
I remember
design.
like back in the day. You remember they had the commercials late at night for Akira. You had to order it off the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember part of the ad was like a review which said, Akira makes Blade Runner look like Disneyland.
Wow.
Oh
The Girls
man.
Gone Wild commercials. I remember those.
Yeah, it
at
was like
night.
right before those. right after the Ronco dehydrator and the rotisserie, set it and forget it, all that shit, right? Yeah. Love that. Jelani, what's your favorite science fiction movie of all time?
You gave me time to think about it. I think it's like Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Out
I
of
love that
all the
movie.
science fiction,
All science fiction. It would be that, and then 2001: A Space Odyssey, but definitely Wrath of
I
Khan.
love how 2001 is the runner-up to Wrath of Khan. I'm a
Yep.
Trekker. You know I'm a Trekker. Wrath of Khan's amazing. It's not the best Star Trek movie, in my opinion.
It's not.
What?
It's not.
What's the best one?
But it's
What's the
my
best Trek
favorite.
film? What's the best Trek film?
This Trek film is First Contact.
I have a
like First
controversial decision there. You know my choice. You know what I think is the best, right?
Piece of crap.
Yes,
Yeah.
the motion picture.
Yeah, the piece of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, that's a good
knew?
science fiction film.
No, it's not.
Guess who directed that film, Perry? Who
DJ.
directed the
Who?
first Star Trek motion picture?
I
Guess
don't
who
care.
directed? Robert Wise, the guy who did Day the Earth Stood Still,
Wow.
guy who did West Side Story, the guy who did the Andromeda Strain. Come on, y'all.
I didn't know
Ooh,
that.
Interstellar. I need to watch that.
You haven't watched Interstellar? It's a good movie.
Yeah, you missed that IMAX, man. You got to watch that IMAX. That's different.
Oh yeah,
It's
TK's
different.
Batcave's here. His favorite science fiction movie is Interstellar. That's a fantastic.
That
movie.
is an awesome movie. That last
Rick
act,
says Star Trek 2, and you said Blade Runner was a
What's
risky
the risky pick?
you heard me. You know why I said Wrath of Khan?
Billy says
Because
Matrix. That's a good one.
It's like one of my favorites,
T2.
man.
I love me some V'ger, man. I don't give a shit.
Fucking feature. Alien's awesome.
Yo, I'm editing Alien 4 now, and I'm at the part
Poor
where she says, "Who do I gotta fuck to get off this place?" Why did she say that?
Dude,
That
that's
was the
such a-
most awkward. That was like, who was writing this? The whole
You know who it
movie is
was?
so bad.
It was Joss
Whedon.
fucking Whedon, man.
Wow,
Joss
the
Whedon's the
dialogue
writer
was
of that
so
film.
bad.
That movie sucks, bro. I hate that fucking movie,
It's
man.
so bad.
I love
Me
the
too.
first three. I cannot stand the fucking fourth, man. And I defend Alien 3. I like Alien 3. I don't know why people don't like that film,
I
but
hate
whatever.
that movie.
I don't like how
No
she died.
guns. No guns. I don't
Alien
like how
3
he
is such a
dies.
grim
I don't
film.
like anybody.
And
I mean, would it
I
be
think
more-
it fucks up
It
a
really
lot of the
was.
shit from the second movie too.
Oh, whatever. What the fuck
It
ever,
does.
man. I like that shit. I'm like,
Like, off the
fucking
top.
Reese's goddamn. Oh, his name's not Reese. What's his name? Whatever. Him and the
Hicks?
kid are fucking dead.
It's
You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus Christ. Let's do it.
sad.
I don't know. I like it. I like 3. And I like the ending. Would it be better if a jet engine fell on her? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, like before she can jump over the side, like a jet engine just falls on her and crushes her.
I don't know. I like it. She's got that weird love
Just
affair.
like, what the fuck?
She's got that weird love affair with that dude from Game of Thrones who's like the leader
Charles
of the
Dance,
Lannisters. Yeah. Weird. I like the movie. It's got the dude from Rock in it. He's like the
Yeah.
preacher, right? I
He
like the
dies.
movie. I don't know.
They
They
all
went back.
die.
That dog alien, like that alien
Hated
is like
that shit.
so fucking scary.
I like the
I think
licking
Alien 3 is
part,
good, but I don't think it's.
but
No, it doesn't live
That's
up
not
to
good.
the first two.
Not at
don't
all.
think.
and it kills
Now
Ripley,
I'm not
man.
saying
It
that. I'm
it's
just
not
saying
cool.
it's
Not
not a
cool.
shit movie. People say it's a shit movie. Alien Resurrection is a shit
No,
fucking
that's a
movie.
shit film.
Alien 3 is alright.
I will
Nah.
say it in Alien Resurrection when they
No
have
Resurrection.
the aliens trapped and then they killed the one alien and use his blood to get out of the prison cell. That was really cool.
I
But
like
the
that.
rest
I
of
kind
the
of,
movie-
I kind of
I
like
when it gets sucked
Resurrection.
out.
Like there was
See-
cool elements to the movie, but it was written so bad.
Brooks likes the. You said you like it, Brooks.
Yeah, it's like
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
I know it's not good. I do have fun with it.
I like the scene where they have to swim underwater, hold their
Yeah,
breath,
I would've
and
died.
aliens are in there. Like
I
me
would have
too, bro.
died, dude.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I'm
even
dead.
tried. I would
We'd
have
have
like.
died. We'd have died.
I've been
I'm
like,
dead.
just
You
come
got
get
me.
me, man. Just come fucking get me in this shit.
Sorry.
quick. I don't fucking.
Yeah.
I don't want to extend this.
He
Please
shoots
don't
a
put one of
missile
those
in the
things
water.
in
Aliens will just be like, it's too easy, too easy.
God.
But it's a mad world, you know. So that's what happens.
Somebody say it's a mad.
Man.
Maybe we should do that one day. It's been a while. It's been a while. How long's it
How
been
long
since
you
you've
feel?
seen Seven Samurai, Jelani?
God, that's 2004, 2005.
That's a while.
Yeah,
It's probably
I love that movie though. I've watched it multiple times before then.
Yeah.
So it's on HBO Max. How easy I can watch it, and I tried to start to watch that like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I'm gonna wait because I know somebody's gonna bring this up, and I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour movie, but it's so worth it. And
it's so good.
It doesn't feel like it. It's on HBO Max, you said?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Good, Brooks. You don't have to borrow my Blu-ray.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD.
Fuck yeah! Well, look at Brooks, man. Yeah, I got it on DVD.
And look, well, I'm guessing it'd probably be easier just to watch it on HBO Max.
He's like, I got it on DVD, but it'd be easier to watch on HBO Max. Plus, it'd be in HD.
You got a plan to watch Seven Samurai, though. That's a
whole goddamn. Oh, dude, it's so good.
It's good.
It's not a science fiction film, but when you're done with your sci-fi bit, you should do some Seven Samurai. It's really good.
Yeah,
I know you're probably going to get
some do like Jet Li movies.
Are you doing Christmas movies this year too?
Yeah.
I don't want to do. I went to Target and I seen like Christmas shirts and decorations and like I got nauseous. I was like, this is disgusting. like dude, I was so in love with the Halloween season that I see Christmas. I'm like, this shit's fucking whack.
You got to do what we did last year. Do horror Christmas movies. There's plenty of them. They're great. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Black Christmas.
1 and 2. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Good times.
Oh yeah.
Are we doing that this year?
Dylan. We're doing unconventional interpretations of A Christmas Carol. So we're doing Muppets Christmas Carol and we're doing Scrooged. So that's what we're doing this year for Christmas.
I like Scrooge.
Scrooge is great.
Scrooge is great. But they're unconventional retellings of Christmas Carol, right? But Dylan is putting together his lineup. He's doing some nice Christmas horror films, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to revisit. Like, here's the thing: is like the thing the films I'm most excited to revisit this year are Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Black Christmas, and we covered those last year.
Yeah, we did.
But I'm just gonna watch them again on my own. I don't give a shit. I love those fucking films, man. I've been looking at this fucking Black Christmas T-shirt, and I'm like, it's cool, but I couldn't really wear it at work because the T-shirts, the cover, the old school poster, where it's literally a chick with a bag taped over her head, like, but still a cool shirt, man. Cool. Yeah, I think we'll get it. We can get it. I'll wear it to work one time and see what happens.
Some kid gets like traumatized.
There's a bag on her head.
I could get more gnarly shirts. I've seen them. I'm out there, man. I know what's going on, man. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the shirts at Hot Topic with the little kids and they're doing like an exorcism, or they're like praising God or praising the devil and shit?
No.
It's really cool. It's like these little innocent kids, but they're doing like they're summoning a demon on the shirt. I'm like, holy shit. That's awesome. Like Hail Satan. I'm like, yo, this shit's crazy. It's super cool.
The world we live in is amazing. We're so tolerant sometimes now.
Yeah,
I really like that.
We are.
Jay Nunya says, A Christmas Story is the best Christmas movie. Here's the funny thing. The same director of A Christmas Story directed Black Christmas, the 70s classic slasher film. Love that movie. That movie's fucked up. You guys remember when we covered that last year?
The killer got away.
Billy, yeah. Ugh.
That was crazy. Spoiler alert.
They use some of the words that you're not allowed to use in things anymore. Like, Perry, you should check out Black Christmas.
7 dirty words.
Black Christmas.
It's got Margot Kidder
Black
in it,
Christmas,
man.
the original from the 70s.
Yeah.
They remade it a couple years ago, and I haven't seen it, but Dylan said it's trash, but I don't even think Dylan's seen it either. So,
yeah,
it's funny how that works. Anyway, what's up? We're nearing show and tell time, so I hope everybody's prepared.
Oh, I'm very prepared.
Jelani says he's very prepared. Well, let's go ahead and start show and tell, Jelani. Since you're so prepared, why don't you lead us off, my friend?
All right. Well,
first of all, Jelani, do you believe in time travel and show and tell? Show us what you have had, and will have.
Well, we'll start with the easy ones, and then we'll get to the other stuff. I got something this week. It's on my Facebook page. You know what it is by now. But I'm going to show off the stuff first, the stuff that came with it. this is the Omega Sentinel, I guess. I never knew the female Sentinel. And then I also got Bastion.
Nice.
That Bastion is clean. I like the head sculpt on it.
I see where this is going.
And I like the little thing I gave it, But it also comes with an alternate head. So you get, I don't know how to put this in focus, but it's like a little Omega Sentinel head. It's pretty cool. And then I got this cool hand. It's like a little damaged, but you know what it goes with, and I got to get up to do that. Oh! This is a lot of work.
Look at the size of that. It's a child.
There's the Sentinel I got.
Whew.
So he's my little baby boy.
That's super dope.
He is my favorite thing. Surprisingly cheap for what I paid for it. I didn't get it. I got it on the secondary market. He's awesome. I don't know because of the other lights what I can do, but it lights up.
Don't mess with the X-Men. Don't mess with the X-Men.
Oh yeah, he has somebody in his tentacle.
Mutant
like that.
surrender.
Okay.
Okay.
It
Not.
changes color.
Not.
Oh, he says,
so
of
cool.
course. You're right.
And he's very detailed. He's very tall. Very
Dude,
articulated.
I was there when Jelani picked that up. That thing, like, I held it. It is like a
It
child.
is like holding a baby child.
It's like a 2-year-old, man. I'm not even
It's
kidding.
freaking, I don't know, like 3 feet. I don't know what this is. It's about 3 feet. It's pretty awesome.
Dude, and they say the Galactus is bigger. Oh my god.
It's much bigger than that. I'm trying to give you all. I wish it made noise. You'd think for all this money it'd make noise.
No
And
shit. It lights up, but it doesn't make noise. Like, bro,
Like,
honestly.
you don't press the button and it goes.
They're like,
like,
we're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you this action figure. We're gonna give you this extra character you don't give a shit, and this extra head you don't give a shit about, but it's not gonna speak.
Yeah, it has different heads, of course.
What?
You can make the master mold, right? Yeah.
You make master molds. I don't know how to hold this properly, so master molds there. Let me put this thing down. Jesus, huge.
And then later on, for $350.99, you're able to get the master mold chair,
Then
which also duplicates
chair.
as a fucking shitter for all your money you're spending on these toys.
Freaking Tri-Sentinel head.
That's cool though. That's cool.
I mean, each one.
That's a cool ass figure.
That
man.
is super dope. Yeah.
You gotta set
Yeah.
that shit up like a Street Fighter
And-
versus the X-Men or some shit.
Oh,
X-Men
that's what I'm
Children of the
thinking about.
Atom or some shit.
And it also comes with the damaged head that goes well with the hand. Everything pretty much.
Do me a favor, Jelani. Take that solo head and compare it to an average Marvel Legend figure.
Okay, so let's see. The average head. I'll just take it off because I want to see it with Master Mold on.
Nice.
Ugh. This is what it looks like with Master Mold on real quick. And by the way, it's still lit up. I press the button, it changes from red to purple to blue and back to red. And it does this for a long time.
Each head lights up?
Each head lights up.
That's
if
cool.
you line it up properly, downsides, you turn the head, the lights don't go with it.
Here's the downside about the Master
But-
Mold head. I don't think the Master Mold body looks like that though.
No, it doesn't. It's too
Yeah.
big. This is
They should
just
have
the old-
upgraded. They should have had extra modification to put
X-Men.
onto it, man.
But yeah, okay. So the size compared to a Marvel Legend. So I'll hold up Bastion again. So I got Bastion, and this is the regular head to Bastion.
It's just the fucking head, man. Look at that.
That's just the
Wow.
head. The leg, I don't know if I can hold both of them at the same time. Oh, God, it's freaking huge.
Do you even listen, bro?
Come on, make them
No,
gains.
the veins. He's such a baby child. That's Bastion. Beside,
He's not as tall as his boot. He's shorter than the boot.
yeah, he's a little shorter than the boot.
That's dope, man.
But the freaking Galactus is way bigger, of course. So I'm
Coming
glad I
soon
have
to a
it.
PCP near you.
So yeah, that's it.
Nice.
That's my show.
Dude,
and tell
that's
pick.
really solid, man. That's a good,
Oh.
solid start, man.
Yeah.
And to follow you up, we can only have
man.
the only man who is still wearing his Teen Dog shades. It's Perry. Show us what you got in this primary universe.
I didn't get much this week, but I did get my my Blu-ray Chucky box set.
Nice.
So
I have that one. The holographic. Yeah, look at that. Lenticular cover with the slip, bruh.
That is cool.
And it's yellow like its box.
Yeah.
Cool. So I can't wait to dive into this. I want to watch like all the gag reels and deleted scenes and stuff. So that's all I got this week, though.
That's awesome, though, man. I love that you've been going through the Chucky franchise, watching the show. That's been a good show. I haven't watched the newest episode, though.
What?
I know. I'm probably going to do this after this one.
It was so good. It was the best episode.
Really?
It was hands down.
I'm so excited. I might watch it as soon as we wrap up here. Oh, man. What this thing again? The porn bot again?
Come back.
Jesus. God. Where are my mods at? They all dipped. They all showed up. They're like,
gone.
station. And they're gone. We need to ask some mods up in here. Hell yeah. As next for show and tell shall be me. All right, let's do it. First of all, I get these Star Trek books in the mail because I've been subscribed to this for a while. So I got this Invector. This is so the Invector is, let's see. So this is DS9, right? And it is, I'm trying to find the company. I thought it had it in there. Wildstorm. This is the Wildstorm DS9. It's one of their mini-series they did. It's set after the conclusion of the show. Then I got this Prime Directives. This is a Marvel comic book. That's Starfleet Academy 1 through 5. What the hell ever. I don't know. Splashdown, which is Marvel Comics Voyager. It's the final 4 issues of their Voyager ongoing series. I know it's a weird stretch, but so Ashes of Eden. This is actually, I know what this is. This is a comic book adaptation that DC did, right? Yeah, DC did this. This is so when Shatner died and at the end of Star Trek Generations, I almost said Revelations like it was that Hellraiser fucking film we watched. So he did the series of books to kind of explain like that he didn't die because he didn't like the way he died. So he did this whole book series where he told the further adventures of Captain Kirk until he actually died. This is a DC comic book adaptation of that. Weird stretch, I know, right? I opened up my Barney Rubble with Cocoa Pebbles this week.
Ooh.
Little
Fancy.
pop figure. Nice.
Does it have a brain? I heard some of the Funko Pops have brains inside.
Honestly, I didn't know anything about that. So that's cool.
What? Yeah, there's people, they get them and they cut them open and they take the brain out.
I don't want to cut open any of these, but there's my Ash from the 40th anniversary Evil Dead right there. You don't get many Ash figures that represent Evil Dead 1 Ash. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So that's,
with both hands.
with both hands and the chainsaw.
And the chainsaw, yeah.
So Rockin' Robbie Live came back last Sunday, and we covered Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X from Marvel in the 90s. So I brought out my Weapon X figure. Remember that from the Toy Biz days, y'all?
I have that.
Yeah.
I have that
good
now.
figure.
Yeah.
I have the giant version of that.
For some reason, I wanted to give Shredder some love tonight. So there's my Shredder figure, old school, original vintage
Nice.
Shredder. And there's
Awkward
Super
body.
Shredder, which if you look at it,
Even more awkward
Super
body.
Shredder is actually fucking puny
Smaller.
compared
Yeah.
to the fucking regular Shredder.
I always noticed that. I
Doesn't
was
make
like,
any
this is
sense.
weird.
It's silly.
You wretched reptiles.
I opened up my, what do they call it? Rise of Evil Origin set. I don't collect Motu Origins, He-Man Origins, whatever. But I do get
Yes,
certain
you do.
things. I don't collect them. I collect vintage. But there's certain things that are hard to find vintage, like, say, Scareglow or Clamp Champ, or certain things they never did, like Keldor. So I got my Keldor right there.
You're welcome.
I love this. No, actually, this
Really?
I got this from Target. Mike picked this up for
Really?
me, a while ago. Yours is
You got
going to be
Cronus
priced.
too?
Yours is about to be priced on our store floor. But I
Nice.
got that. I got that. This is like the dopest Origins
Yeah,
Yeah,
Skeletor.
that head
it
is fucking
is. It
badass.
is awesome. That's the best Skeletor you're gonna get.
So popping the head on there. Look at that.
Yeah.
And the
He's so
eyes
clean.
glow. Yeah, I have the. So this is the Trap Jaw former guy. He's still in the package. I don't even give a shit. I'm trading this back in. I honestly got this whole
Oh,
set
no,
for this
Chronos.
fucking figure. I wanted a Keldor. I wanted, Skeletor before he turned, and so
That's cool.
That's
I
what
didn't
I
even know
want.
there was a before.
Right.
Skeletor.
yeah, Skeletor was actually Keldor. And you're like,
Yep.
oh, what a coincidence that his face melted off and he was a skeleton face and he became Skeletor, like Keldor, like so. I
Makes
love the
sense.
names in the Masters in the Motu universe. It's so stupid. All right, and the final thing I want to show off, or actually I have two more things. But first of all, I got this at a local con that we do, the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. This is Greta's Creatures and Gifts. She does these like yarn, like puppet, like not puppets, but like yarn dolls of like pop culture icons. And several years ago, PCP was there, and her booth was next to ours, and I picked up this Frank the Rabbit, Frank the
Oh
Rabbit
damn!
Cool.
one right there. So I still treasure this. I have it. I love it. And yeah, there that is. And finally, you ready for this? I have not tried this yet, but I'm so ready. Full report in the post credits on Rockin' Robbie Live Sunday night. I got apple pie toast crunch.
Wow.
And this just sounds fucking amazing. They used to do apple cinnamon toast crunch. That
Yeah.
shit was dope. So like,
This should be It's apple
y'all
pie.
don't even know. Apple pie
Shut
toast crunch. And I've heard that sugar cookie toast crunch is out as well. Their annual Christmas cereal. Definitely worth it. Dude, I'm so pumped for that. If you don't know me,
You
I'll
like
tell you one
cereal?
thing. I love
With
fucking
whole
cereal.
milk. Oh man.
Vanilla almond milk, bro. Oh my God. I'm probably going to try it tonight. Formulate my thoughts over a couple of nights before I deliver my review. Over at Rockin' Robbie Live. Speaking of live, let's get live right now with Brooks. Show us what you've got.
Picked this up the other day up at the shop. It's the complete Kirby Eternals run.
King Kirby.
Yeah. It's funny because like, a lot of Jack Kirby stuff like this, it feels like it ends so abruptly.
Yeah.
Like he's on a roll and then editor's like, oh, we're gonna have to cancel it. So he has to like just wrap it up really quickly.
Did you read all of it?
Yeah.
I've only read like the first 5 or 6 issues, and I love the energy, bro. It's
like it's very like
bold, man.
mythological,
Dude, it's like he read Chariots of the Gods and he wrote that fucking comic book, man.
Well, it's very similar to like Tolkien's Silmarillion in a lot of ways too.
You always got to bring it back to Tolkien, man. We're trying to talk about Kirby. Come on, man. You
Hey,
fucking nerd.
You can talk about both.
Kind of like in Donnie Darko, where it's creation and destruction.
I was saying, like, I didn't mention this, but the whole scene where they're shooting, he's with his buddies, and he's shooting the bottles.
The
And they
Smurf
talk
scene.
about Smurfette and the whole Smurfs thing.
Yeah.
And he goes off on that tangent.
It's very logical, man.
Very sexual.
That's totally me. That would have been me. I would have been Donnie. Given
God
that.
damn it, Brooks. Why you got to go get smart on us?
It's like, cause that's just some kind of stupid trivia that I would know about back in the day.
Smurfette was created by Gargamel, not even Papa Smurf. Yeah, they're
What's the
fungi.
point of
They
being alive?
reproduce by spores,
You don't have
right?
a dick.
Yeah. Anyway, you got some Smurf toys you want to show off now?
Not anymore. I used to, though. But I picked this up too. This is a
Just the North Star.
Fist of the North Star, which if you've never heard of it, it's like if Bruce Lee was Mad Max and his kicks and punches could make people explode. But yes, it's awesome. I'm gonna pick those up. My buddy George, he had like the whole set of like color and stuff back in the day. So like I never picked them up back then because I would just borrow his copies. But now I've got to get my own. I'm gonna pick this up the other day. This is the first PlayStation 4 game I've picked up like on disc. And it'll probably be the only one too, because I just felt like picking up. I needed at least one physical PS4 game.
What is that?
It's Nier Automata. It's like a SquareSoft game. It's about androids who fight robots.
I understood 20% of that sentence. Androids and
Yes.
robots.
It's good. It's good. It's like a very simple, like the combat thing is very simple, but the storyline takes some like really dark twists and turns, which I like.
This motherfucker found that in a $20 bin and was like, I need to own one physical copy of a video game for the PS4. That's what she did.
Yeah, that's more. And I wanted to get something that I guess could tie into the theme of Donnie Darko. So like time travel. What about Chrono Trigger? Well, this is actually
Bruh.
Final Fantasy Chronicles. It's like a PlayStation release they did like back in the early 2000s. It has Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger. Which if you never play Chrono Trigger, is a game about time travel, and it's awesome.
How appropriate.
And that's all I've got for now.
I like that you picked a video game that was about time travel there.
Yeah.
For the end there.
I was like, of course.
When you first
About time
when you
travel.
first said Chrono Trigger, I was like, is he about to pull out a fucking SNES Chrono
I
Trigger?
used to have it, man. It pisses me off so
You know how much
since
that's
I got
worth
lost.
now, man?
That shit would like be making me bank these days.
You'd be selling the NFTs, man.
Yeah. I was like, I could just I can start making NFTs.
Of the single pixels of your individual game
Yeah.
through, right? Yeah. By the way, we're about to do a PCP game night soon, and I don't know how to screen cap the system or nothing, but like I'm going to try to piece something together for our game night. If anything, you'll just get some like really crude like camcorder footage of us playing fucking through NES and SNES and Genesis games, and Brooks
What?
getting really fucking pissed off. Like that's the fun part. You guys don't
Yeah,
even know
That's
how
a different
pissed
level.
off this dude gets playing
Yeah.
fucking video games. I'm gonna
Brooks
be like,
is
Brooks,
calm now, but when he plays video games,
we're gonna get this
Um,
motherfucker playing Castlevania 2 and see what happens. Simon's Quest is Brooks is pissed.
Castlevania 2 is actually pretty easy if you know where to go.
Listen to this motherfucker. He's acting like he's so cool.
Like
calm, and
Castlevania 3 is the real deal.
Okay.
Different.
We're gonna okay, let's see if we can figure out fucking Friday the 13th.
No.
And I dare someone to get through fucking the first
Silver
Turtles
Surfer?
game. The first
Yeah.
Turtles
I
game.
can get to the Technodrome. I can get inside the Technodrome.
Yeah, I want you to prove it, motherfucker, and I'm gonna film that you can't. Prove to everybody. But there you go. Anyway,
Challenge
we're dipping out.
accepted.
Jelani, thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me,
I
man.
see you out there in the chat, Verno, by the way. Perry, thank you for being here. Everybody go check out his channel. Link in the description below. What's coming up, Perry?
Alien 4.
Oh, man,
I'm
that's
excited.
just good. Enjoy.
So that's the whole bit. All right, Brooks, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Glad to rewatch through Donnie Darko again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. So join us tomorrow night for Dylan's sappy ass romance fantasy show. Where we're
I've
talking
never
about
seen that
Legend.
movie. Is it any
Really?
good? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
Tom
good.
Cruise, right?
Yeah. It's Tim Curry.
It looks amazing and it sounds beautiful.
He just hates
I'll
Tom Cruise.
say that.
That
Next
sounds
week,
kinda like a backhanded compliment.
next week, join us for Seventh Samurai here on PCP Movie Night, and we appreciate everything. And we're out. So what's that thing we always say around here? It's from Bill and Ted.